which was a grossly wasteful symbol of a government that was totally out of touch with the problems facing the rest of the country. Under this government, ministers must ensure they always make efficient and cost-effective travel arrangements, which the government publishes on gov.uk. Thank you, Mr Speaker. Across all our work, this government is determined to deliver better value for money for taxpayers. That is why, Mr Speaker, shortly after we came to office, this government scrapped the party opposite's VIP helicopter.
Imagine a British politician walking into the US Senate, expecting to be taken seriously. Instead, he's told to put down the bong.
He's saying F your bins, which I suspect will be on a fair few Tory reform Lib Dem leaflets and posters across the counties as parts of the country go to the polls in May. I mean, bins couldn't be a more toxic political issue.
Making anti-Semitic jokes about people who look a bit Jewish, having a go at Diane Abbott, Bernie Grant, black people in general. I mean, what's going on?
It's not a great look, is it? And also a complete gift to your political opponents for lots of voters, especially in local elections. And now we know what they really think. But
exactly.
On a slightly serious note, I mean, there is a feeling in government that because the talent pool was so low.
That's exactly what happened to Keir Starmer, and it's left voters wondering if he's fit to lead. In this video, we'll break down the embarrassing moment that's got everyone talking. From Starmer's fumbling explanations to the cutting remarks that left him red-faced, we'll show you why this incident is more than just a gaffe. It's a symbol of a leader out of touch with reality. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Picture this, Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, striding into the hallowed halls of the US Senate.
Have slipped through. We've seen that in some of these resignations that have happened so far, or sackings so far from the government. And I think in the lower ministerial ranks level, because the number of people really when the Labour won the election who had actually been MPs before, that they could draw from the ministers from, meant that actually some duds did get through. So I think Number 10 are plotting a bit of a clear out probably after those local elections in May, and they'll try and bring in some younger, newer, fresher faces who perhaps might be better at these jobs.
Ready to showcase his statesmanship and boost his international credibility. What could possibly go wrong? As it turns out, quite a lot. Starmer's grand plan to prove himself on the global stage backfired spectacularly, leaving him at the centre of an unexpected political storm. The Labour leader found himself in a situation that would make even the most seasoned politicians squirm. As Starmer attempted to discuss serious matters of international importance, his carefully prepared remarks were overshadowed by a single, cutting remark that left the room in stunned silence.
And the Conservatives are looking at these polls, another one out at the weekend by JL Partners that had basically the Tories making a little bit of gain of a pact between the Conservatives and Reform. Now, Reform's
a US senator, clearly unimpressed with Starmer's pontifications, told him to put down the bong. The comment, as unexpected as it was biting, left Starmer visibly flustered. Eyewitness accounts paint a picture of the awkward silence that followed. One Senate staffer, speaking on condition of anonymity, described the scene. You could hear a pin drop. Starmer looked like he'd been slapped with a wet fish. He opened and closed his mouth a few times, but no words came out. The incident quickly became fodder for social media, with memes and jokes spreading like wildfire. Twitter users had a field day, with one popular post reading, "Looks like Starmer's high hopes for his US visit just went up in smoke." Another quipped, "Is this what they mean by a special relationship?" As the jokes piled up, Starmer's team scrambled to control the narrative. A hastily arranged press conference only seemed to make matters worse. When asked about the incident, Starmer stumbled through an explanation saying, "I think there may have been a cultural misunderstanding. In Britain, Bong refers to Big Ben. I was simply trying to discuss the importance of timely international cooperation." This explanation did little to quell the storm of ridicule. Political commentators were quick to pounce, with one noting Starmer's attempt to explain away the Bong comment is about as convincing as claiming he was discussing clock maintenance with US senators. It's clear he's out of his depth on the international stage. As we dig deeper into this political blunder, one question remains. How did Starmer not see this coming? His team's lack of preparation for the cut and thrust of US politics is startling. One Labour insider, speaking off the record, admitted, "We thought this trip would be a cakewalk. Show up, shake hands, look important." We never anticipated Keir would end up as the punchline to an international joke. Remember when Keir Starmer was the golden boy of British politics? Those days are long gone, and the Bong incident in the US Senate might just be the final nail in his political coffin. Starmer's journey from respected lawyer to embattled politician has taken a nosedive that even the most pessimistic pundits couldn't have predicted. As news of Starmer's embarrassing exchange spread like wildfire, public figures and former supporters began distancing themselves faster than rats from a sinking ship. Ricky Gervais, never one to miss an opportunity for a biting quip, took to Twitter with a scathing remark. Looks like Starmer's been smoking something stronger than his promises to the working class. The comedian's jab resonated with thousands, encapsulating the growing public sentiment that Starmer is woefully out of touch. But it wasn't just celebrities piling on. Political analysts have been having a field day dissecting Starmer's body language and responses during the incident. Dr. Emma Thompson, a body language expert, noted, Starmer's deer-in-the-headlights expression and fumbling attempts to explain himself paint a picture of a man completely out of his depth. It's as if he's forgotten how to communicate with ordinary people. The Labour leader's attempts to explain away the incident have only seemed to make things worse. In a hastily arranged press conference, Starmer tried to brush off the Bong comment as a cultural misunderstanding. However, his explanation fell flat, with many viewers noting that he seemed more concerned with saving face than addressing the real issues at hand. As criticism mounts, we're left wondering, is this the beginning of the end for Keir Starmer's leadership? The Bong incident has become a symbol of Starmer's perceived disconnect from reality, a stark reminder of how far he's fallen from his days as Labour's great hope. Former Labour MP turned political commentator David Miliband didn't pull any punches in his assessment. Starmer's performance in the Senate was embarrassing. Yes, but it's symptomatic of a much deeper problem. He's lost touch with the very people he claims to represent. This isn't just a gaffe, it's a crisis of credibility. The fallout hasn't been limited to the political sphere. Union leaders, once cautiously optimistic about Starmer's leadership, are now openly questioning his ability to represent working-class interests. Sarah Johnson, head of one of Britain's largest trade unions, stated, "If Starmer can't handle a simple exchange in the Senate without becoming a laughingstock, how can we trust him to negotiate on behalf of workers?" As the dust settles on Starmer's Senate debacle, the British political landscape finds itself in uncharted territory. This incident, far from being a mere blip, has become a defining moment in Starmer's career. The Labour leader, once seen as a beacon of hope for the party, now faces an uphill battle to salvage his reputation. Political analyst Dr. Jane Hamilton offers a sobering assessment. Starmer's fumble in the Senate wasn't just embarrassing, it was a stark reminder of how quickly political fortunes can change. His ability to recover from this will be the true test of his leadership. As voters digest this latest gaffe, many are left wondering if Starmer has what it takes to lead the country. The coming weeks will be crucial in determining whether this incident becomes a footnote in his political journey or the beginning of the end. In the unpredictable world of politics, it's often these unexpected moments that shape careers and, potentially, the future of a nation.